Welcome to the Love Gods, where two romance audiobook narrators answer listener-submitted questions about love, sex, and romance. I'm Tim Page.
And I'm Liam DeCosimo.
A quick disclaimer, this show is for entertainment purposes only. If you need real help, please seek out a qualified professional.
And if you need real help, why are you here? Go get real help. We're idiots. We don't know what we're talking about. But if you have kids in the room, we would love for them to leave because this is going to be highly, highly inappropriate. I'd say all the way up to about, I don't know, like 18. I think maybe an 18-year-old would be okay.
We could be 21 and up. I'm not sure.
Yeah, right. But we're drinking age. Welcome to the drinking age. No.
Yeah. No, it's true. Get them the fuck out of here. It's not a good idea. We are going to poison their minds with all sorts of bad ideas. You know, we're going to teach them about the birds and the bees. We're going to give them relationship advice that will get them broken up with. Like, it's just not a good idea.
Yeah, this is not a good way to start your dating life with these two idiots. But
no,
hey, c'est la vie, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm sick, and so I'm here for you. This is dedication. Sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. But thanks for the great feedback from last week. We've been having a lot of fun doing the YouTube thing now. It's new. It's fresh. We're very confused. We're old people. Learning new technology is hard for us. And so, you know, bear with us. We have our green screens and it's just green. So we're really good at this.
Yeah, we'll figure it out eventually. But there's a learning curve and we are behind the curve at this point.
Right. The only thing really curved is our back as we are hunched over.
And our penises.
That too. I don't know if you saw, but I posted the best picture on Instagram. It was at the Most, which is a museum in Syracuse. And it showed a picture of something and it said, "How thick is it?" So I took a picture next to it and I went like that.
Gross and awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was great. They were for sure talking about peni, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's the Museum of Science and Technology. I figured that, or it's the Museum of Sex and Taints. So, I mean,
yes.
Go figure. Scrotums.
Sex and taints.
Scrotums and taints.
Scrotums and taints. Scrotums and testes? Because then you could just really focus on what you're good at.
This is true. Scrotums and testes. I am good at those.
Well, do us a favor. If you're watching on YouTube, if you could just click the subscribe and like button below, that would help us a lot. We're really trying to grow the channel. We've got like 50 subscribers right now. We're really new, but we want to grow. We're going to be going live. Thank you for 50 people already in 2 weeks of putting up videos. That's amazing. We want to go live soon. We were going to start next week, but with me not feeling great, I'm like, let's not start next week. We're gonna make sure I'm super healthy. So maybe after Remy's surgery, we'll go live. That way it give you guys some time to settle in and stuff, you know?
Sounds good. I'm into that. I'm into that.
Yeah, it'd be good. But in the meantime, you got these lovely videos that you can watch that are as close to live as you can get. I mean, you can see these dumbass faces and know that if you watch it right when we upload it, it just was the night before that we recorded it. So hello from the past.
Yes,
you know?
Yes. You are now living in the future. Flying cars yet? Any? No? Didn't think so.
A different president yet? All right, let's dive right in. This first one comes in from Anonymous. And Anonymous says, "Hey guys, I'm writing in as Anonymous because honestly, I'm embarrassed and I know my friends listen too." Well, first off, kudos to you for having great friends that know quality trash content to watch or listen to. So, thanks. They say, "So I made a mistake recently." Was it listening to this show? I hooked up with my ex. We have been broken up for just under a year. Our relationship was good until it wasn't. We mutually broke up and tried to move on. I say tried because I've missed him. When we broke up, I didn't want it to happen, but it was one of those, it had to happen things. Well, we ran into each other at a mutual friend's house and ended up fucking in the bathroom. No one knows it happened except us, and now I can't get him out of my head. We talked after and agreed it shouldn't happen again, but I really want it to. I'm wondering if I should tell him that I want to give things a try again. I know we broke up for a reason, but right now it feels like with some time apart, maybe it's fixable. Thanks, guys. Liam, what do you think? Should she tell him to, get in there again?
I don't know, man. Like, I'm not the biggest supporter of, from my own experience, retreading old paths, I guess is the best way to put it. I just think if they're an ex for a reason. And those reasons will eventually come back. And even though it seems exciting because you're like, oh, we rekindled something that I felt was missing, I feel like you're not rekindling, you're just going back to what's comfortable. And then at that point, you know what I mean? Like you're falling back into a pattern that will eventually lead you down the same path that you were in before. And this same person or the same problems that were there previously will just come back around. Like, unless this is an ex from like a long time ago and you're like, oh, we're both completely different people now. Yeah, there's the potential for that. I could see that happening. But from my experience, anytime I tried to date again somebody that I had broken up with, and like I said, from my experience, it was typically like they were my most recent ex. Like it was like I had broken up with them. Maybe I went on a couple dates, but like nothing too serious. And then something happened again with that ex. And it just, all the problems were still there. And even if at the onset you're like, oh yeah, I remember when things were good. But yeah, that was a long fucking time ago. Things are not good anymore. And my feedback, my suggestion for anybody that is in this type of situation, take all the things you liked about your ex and look for that in a new partner. And everything that you didn't like, right? And anything you didn't like about that ex, make sure the next partner doesn't have those things. And then with the next partner, you'll learn some new things that you like, new things that you don't like. And then you're basically building your perfect partner by continuing to seek out until you find that person that has all the qualities you love, none of the qualities you hate, because even the things that annoy you about that person, you still love that it's that person that's annoying you. Like Brittany and I always talk about like that I'm an obnoxious pain in the ass, but I'm her obnoxious pain in the ass, and she loves it.
Yep.
So I find yourself a Brittany, not my Brittany, but find yourself a Brittany, and you'll never work a day in your life. I don't know. No, you'll never go a day without love. Yeah, took me a little bit, but I got there.
That sounds good.
For you, I'm trying to think, man. I know one ex that you went back to, but for the most part, you usually kept it pretty similar to the way I did, where it was kind of like, no, I've read that book. I'd like to read a new one, but maybe your thoughts have changed in your wizened age.
Nope. As I've gotten older, I find it exactly the same. I've changed my stance on a lot of things. That's not one of them. And, maybe it's because, you mentioned one person that I got back together with, and maybe that's why. But I've seen a lot of people get back together with their exes, and it's just been a train wreck, Mine wasn't so much a train wreck. It was more that, like you mentioned, the things that were not good when we were together the first time, and then I think we were apart for like maybe 2 years, I want to say. It was a while. And then we got back together. It was all the same stuff. Like we hadn't changed enough in 2 years that it was like, oh, all these things that weren't working before now we're suddenly going to work. It's not enough time. You hear these stories like, what was it? When Harry Met Sally, where they show the stories, and like there's that older couple that they got married, they got divorced, and then like 40 years later they found each other and got remarried again, and it worked, right? That's 40 years. This person, Anonymous, you're talking about a year. You didn't change that much in a year. You might have had some growth in a year for sure. I've had growth in every year, especially in the pants. But like, you didn't grow enough that this relationship where it was meant to end, like you mentioned, what was your exact wording? You said you knew it had to happen. So you knew it had to happen. It wasn't going to change enough in a year that all of a sudden it didn't have to happen. I'll share a story. This relationship that I was in, it was definitely like at the time, my most serious relationship. We were together for, I think, 2.5 years, something like that. I was for sure like, oh yeah, she's the one. you know, thought that she was going to be the one. And then she went off and wanted to cheat on me with the guy that Liam's girlfriend cheated on him with at the time. So like she literally we found out that she wanted to cheat and would have had she been given the opportunity, but Liam's girlfriend at the time got to him first.
She was faster. Yeah, she moved quicker.
Yeah. So that's the girl that I got back together with a few years later, figuring, okay, you know, she made a mistake. Things had changed. We sort of had started talking again. We rekindled things. We got back together. And not only were things really no different, like I felt at the time like, oh, things are so much better. We've changed. Like she's a little older. I'm a little older, you know, like now we've made that mistake. We missed each other. Like we knew we wanted to get back together. But the whole time she was still the same person that she was, to the point where, again, we thought we were going to get married. I thought we were going to get married. We ended up getting tattoos on our fingers, our ring fingers, his and hers tattoos. So I got hers and she got his. And she broke up with me 2 weeks after we got them.
Yeah. They hadn't even
And she
healed.
told me, yeah, they had barely healed. And she told me that she knew when we went to get the tattoos that she was going to break up with me, but she thought it was cute, so she still wanted to get it. So this is an example of the problems that were there before, namely that she was a person of low integrity, were still there when we got back together. She went on to do some ridiculous shit afterwards as well. Invaded into my life in several ways after we broke up. But she also said a lot of awful shit about me after we broke up to a lot of people that we knew that got back to me, and it fucked with my confidence. I say all of this not to be like, oh, look at me, I've had this bad experience, but just this is a perfect example of, it was 2 years apart, which is not a lot of time, but you know, when you're a little younger, it feels like a lot of time. And it was nowhere near enough time for either of us to change enough for anything to be different. And the problems that were there before were still there. So personally, I think it's fine that you had that hookup. But now you know that when you have that experience, you know, it puts him in your head, and now you're like, oh, I miss him. You know, I want to be with him again. So one, I don't think you should hook up with him again. And two, I definitely don't think you should try to get back together with him. Maybe this is the freak scenario where it's like, you know, it's the one case where it could work, but I don't think you should fight against the odds on this one. And I think you should move on, do what Liam said, find another guy that has the qualities that this guy had that you liked and doesn't have the qualities that, you know, you don't like. And you'll be better off that way. And you don't have the baggage of a past relationship that didn't work out, that served its time and it is now gone. So yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. They're an ex for a reason. For multiple reasons.
Yeah, exactly. And cool. Again, you know, maybe the hookup was, I'll share this thing. I'm not big on, I'm a dirty atheist, and I'm really not big on a lot of like metaphysical stuff. I don't really believe in fate, which is funny because there's a lot of things in my life that I could attribute to fate, that are absolutely world altering, life changing things that I just think, happened. And it's great that they happen, and it's really romantic and fun to be able to be like, it was fate. Liam and I were destined to meet and become best friends. Like, of all the people in the world, it's so clear the two of us are meant to be best friends. We do everything together and never get sick of each other, never fight. You know, like there's so many different things in life that are easy to attribute to fate, but I'm just not a big believer in fate. So anyway, I forgot why I was talking about that.
Oh, you were talking about. So you were talking about not believing in fate, so like the metaphysical side of things, like people thinking like, oh, we met back up for a reason, or like this thing happened for a reason. So you could think about like with an ex, like, oh, yeah, we hooked up because we're supposed to be together. Like we manifested being. Yeah.
Yep.
I got you, bro.
Yeah, so
I got you.
Thank you. The reason I bring that up is because I do believe that, for whatever reason, I believe that, like, if you are looking at life, I don't want to say in the right way, but a healthy thing for me, at least, let's go with what I've done. A healthy thing for me has been to look at people and experiences as what I needed and what they needed at the time. So like when people are like, oh, it was a failed relationship because it ended badly or whatever. It's like, it wasn't a failed relationship. It was a relationship that served the purpose that it needed to serve in the moment. So like, I had my most recent relationship from last year. It was like, I was really sad when it ended. It was, you know, it sucked when it ended. And there were a lot of things that hurt a lot when it ended. But I know what purpose that relationship served in my life, and I know what purpose it served in her life. So what I'm saying to you is that, Anonymous, I think that maybe this served the purpose of, one, maybe helping you get over him. Like, you had that experience, and I know you're missing him and stuff now, but maybe you can look at it objectively and be like, cool, we had sex, we had fun in a bathroom, like there was that hot, heavy moment, but also all this time that I've spent kind of thinking of him on and off, I can now be like, we had that experience, he's not for me. And hopefully that was getting a need met and allowing you to move on. Hopefully. Yeah.
Agreed. I like that.
Cool. Well, I hope that helps you, and good luck with your next dude. Trust me, there's plenty of dudes out there that will fuck you in the bathroom. So, you know, you can find them.
Tim is one of them.
Depends where. I'm very particular about which bathrooms I'll fuck in.
Taco Bell bathrooms, yes. McDonald's bathrooms, no.
Can't say I've ever fucked in a Taco Bell. Have you fucked in a Taco Bell bathroom?
No, God, no.
No, that sounds like a terrible idea.
No, I don't think ever in public restrooms, no.
I think the most interesting, I don't want to say interesting, but like kind of the funniest place that I've ever fucked was on our tour bus while my at the time girlfriend's ex-boyfriend was sleeping in the bunk, like, you know, right next to us. Not next to us in the same bunk, but, you know, on the
Close
same bus.
by.
I think that's, yeah. All right. This next one comes from Open to Open, ? They say, should I consider an open relationship? I'm not looking for anything serious, but I would love to have a guy who wants to do datey stuff without committing to each other, since my life is way too crazy to add another quote-unquote responsibility. I know that sounds harsh, but I genuinely don't have the emotional or mental bandwidth for something where I need to give 100%. So I'm wondering if maybe an open relationship would get some needs met, allow me to enjoy the company of a guy when I do have some spare time, but not require finding a guy who needs that commitment. Thoughts? This is mine to take first, and I'm glad it is.
Yeah.
So sounds very similar to where my mindset is at the moment. Like, we have kind of a similar mindset, and like, one, like I don't have, my walls are quite up at the moment to anything serious. Like, if I were to meet somebody awesome, it would be hard for them to break through no matter how great they were, just because of past experiences and things like that. But also, I'm not particularly open to, you know, any kind of, I don't want to say like meaningful relationship, because I do think all relationships can be meaningful even if they're not meant to be long term. But I'm not getting on the relationship escalator. I'm not looking for things to escalate and go to where like, oh, you know, we're trying to do anything like that. So I'm in a similar place. The problem that I'm coming to find is that it's really easy to be super, super selfish in that mindset. And that's coming from someone, like, I consider myself to be kind of a selfish person. Luckily, the people that love me the most often tell me that I'm not a selfish person. So it might just be like a self-conscious thing. But I tend to think about, okay, what do I want? What do I need? A lot. And I think probably that's healthy to an extent. But in this case, when you're looking at like, okay, I want to get my needs met, I want to have the company of a guy when I want it, all those kinds of things, those things are reasonable. I think it's perfectly understandable, but you also need to remember that the other person is also a person, and the other person also has needs that they want met, and they might not see exactly eye to eye. And I think that's where you're saying like, oh, if I were to get in an open relationship, I wouldn't be the only person. And so I could be the same to them. But I think it's rare to find people that are looking for exactly the same thing that you're looking for. And also there's that question of, if you spend that time, however much time you have together, and things get more romantic, you fall for each other, one falls for the other. It doesn't, if you're saying like, I'm only interested in this relationship that's like low commitment, you know, low effort, whatever, and things start to change for you or for them, either you've set the boundaries and it's going to cause weirdness, or you don't set the boundaries and nobody kind of knows where things are at. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't do this. I'm absolutely not advocating for not, looking for folks that are open to an open relationship. I think that that absolutely is a valid relationship style if that's something that works for you. What I'm asking for you to do is to take some time and like really spend some time with yourself and find out, do I want to be with somebody in an open relationship because I'm scared of commitment? Is it because I'm afraid that I will get into something and then not have the time for it and like torpedo it? Or is it really what you're saying is just like, look, I don't have a lot of time right now, but like I'd like to fuck every once in a while, or I want to go on dates, or I want somebody to make me feel special. All of those things, perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with any of that. But I think if you can really narrow that down, you can then be really open and honest with any potential partners. And then, yeah, you can start looking for people that are looking for that. Definitely non-sponsored, but if they want to sponsor, it'd be really great. There is a dating app called Feeld, Feeld. And it's sort of I don't know how to describe it. It's not like a kink app, but it's like more of a very open app. It's for all people, all types of people. So people can be specific in what kind of relationship types they're looking for, what kind of kinks they're into. Like it's very, very open. You can, if you are polyamorous, you can actually, or you're in a relationship and you're in an open relationship, you can actually like link your and their dating profile so that people can see that you have a partner, you have a real partner, and you're both on the app. And like you can search together or you can search separately. Feeld is a really good place. I think if you're looking for that kind of relationship, you can be clear as day. And then somebody who is looking for somebody in an open relationship or looking for somebody that, has low commitment or whatever, can be way more specific than something like Tinder or Bumble, which is way more restrictive. Like there are people there that are polyamorous or in open relationships or are looking for different things, but it's way harder to be super specific. Whereas on Feeld, you can be as specific as you want. And chances are there are people that are looking for something similar to what you're looking for. Liam, what do you think? Did I completely botch this? Am I wrong?
No, man, I think you're spot on. And I think I applaud the open, the writer here for having kind of that self-awareness to recognize like, hey, this is what I need. Jumping into a full-on relationship is probably not going to be a good fit for me right now. So let me find something that can kind of scratch a couple of different itches. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But what you said kind of at the start, this idea of remembering it's not just about scratching your itch, it's about making sure that your partner's itches are being scratched as well. So, maybe you want to date and have it be casual and it's just not that often. They may be a little bit more regimented in the way that they want to do dating, especially when it's like, the big romantic holidays. And they're like, well, I want to go out on Valentine's Day, but you're like, fuck Valentine's Day. I'm not into all that lovey-dovey stuff. But, if they're kind of doing for you, you want to make sure that you're reciprocating. And it should never be I did this for you, you have to do this for me. But you should want, because then it becomes where you're holding things over the other person. And you want to make sure that there's give and take, that you guys are both getting what you need out of whatever that relationship is. So I think part of the struggle is going to be finding a person that is open and willing to kind of work with you in that regard, or multiple people if it's polyamorous or however. But then also making sure that you are very open with setting what boundaries you have going into that relationship and hold firm to them, because if you start to give a little bit on a boundary because you're like, well, I don't want to lose this person as a partner, but this was kind of a hard stop for me. You're going to kind of have to stick to your guns, for lack of a better term, because even just that one little boundary being broken, then it starts to snowball. And then it becomes where maybe you fall into a relationship, like a singular relationship that you were not initially looking for. And then as the months go by, or sometimes even years, you're like, oh shit, I'm in a relationship and that was not my intent. So, I think just be open and honest, make sure that your partner is also, or partners are open and honest. Everybody sets their boundaries, make sure that things are workable within everybody's set of boundaries, and then go fucking have fun. I mean, that should be the biggest part of relationships. I think anytime I see somebody post like, oh, marriage is hard work, or, you know, loving someone is hard work. I'm like, this is not. It's really not. If it's that much hard work, like there might be something wrong. So have those conversations and figure out how you can fix that. Because, you know, in my experience, the relationships I've been in where the relationship was hard work or loving that person was hard work, it didn't end up being worth the amount of effort that I had to put in to try to maintain what I thought was a healthy relationship, because now I'm in one, and, you know, I feel like I say it a lot on the show, and I'm not just trying to brag, but like, it's hard not to. It's really nice to just like wake up and I keep hitting my mic. Just like wake up and just be like so easily in love with my partner. And I want that for everybody. I want everybody to have that kind of easy love, you know, 2025, 15 years later, you know? So,
and it's not that it doesn't take work. It's not that you guys haven't had to put in work. It's just that it's work that's so worth doing. It's so like, you know what you're getting out of that work. Like, it's not to say that a good relationship isn't going to take, you know, work and compromise and figuring out those things. But when you love somebody so much and they make you so happy, then it's like, yeah, well, do I want to, you know, I don't know, like not play video games at night because the kids are being rowdy, or because, you know, we had planned to spend time together watching a show that I don't care about watching. No, I'd rather play video games, but like, I love this person and I want to spend time with them. Right. So it's easy to make those choices, as opposed to like, you know, like if you're in a relationship that sucks and you're like, I don't want to do this. Like, oh, fuck, I got to go spend time with my partner. Like, okay, well, I don't think you're in the right place.
Red flag. Well, yeah. Like I don't like doing the dishes. I don't. There's just never going to be a time where I'm like, man, this is rewarding and fun. No, I don't give a fuck. But I know that she also doesn't really want to do the dishes. So, yeah. And she does them more than I do, like for fucking sure. But like if I'm up in the morning and I see, oh, you know, we left a bunch of dishes out. They're not out, but they're like all in the sink. And I'm like, well, I'll just fucking wash them. I've got 15 to 20 minutes. You know, the kids are still in bed, or Brittany's still in bed, or she's, you know, getting ready in the bathroom. Like, fuck, I'll just do them. I'm here. Yeah. I might as well do it. And it's not because I want to, but I know it is one less thing on her plate for the day. And I'm like, and in my head, I'm thinking, if I can make it that much easier for her, why would I not? Like, why would I not want to do that? So it's almost like you do these things because you're not looking for reward. You're not looking to be like thanked or praised for doing it. You just know. Well, I am. I think most other people are probably not. I want a fucking ticker tape parade. Like, this shit better rival Macy's Thanksgiving, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm happy knowing that she'll walk into the kitchen and have that sense of relief of, oh, thank goodness he did them. It's one less thing that I have to do. And I think that's love to me, you know, just like when people talk about like, oh, acts of service or kindness or whatever the fucking thing is. I don't really buy into that. Five stages, love language, right?
Love languages. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really buy into that. I feel like everybody kind of has their own thing, and some of it probably exists well outside the love language shit. I mean, my love languages are like oral, anal. No, I'm just kidding.
I think because I want to interrupt you because it's fun.
You love it.
I think the love languages are just a useful tool. People use them as like gospel, the same way they use like horoscopes as gospel. They can be a useful tool. Like, horoscopes are good because they can give you like, oh, here's a thing to focus on today. But it's not as if that horoscope is like, this is the blah, blah, blah. It's with anything. It's like, if you take it and use it as a tool, like if I recognize, oh, I really respond well to when people like say nice things about me. For whatever reason, probably because I'm a Gemini and also I'm an actor, so clearly I love attention. But like when people say good things about me, I really like that. If I'm in a relationship and somebody's like, God, you're so hot, I'm just like, oh my God, just like, it melts my insides. I love it. No. Whereas like with other people, they want to be bought shit all the time. So, but it's not as if I also don't enjoy all of the other things. Like, I like quality time. I like getting gifts. It's just a useful tool that can help you sort of, you know, whatever.
But I think that's the same thing with the horoscopes. Like it's a useful tool to identify certain characteristics that you may exhibit, but by no means are you going to exhibit absolutely every characteristic that's contained within that horoscope. You know, it's funny when something's spot on, you know, you read something or I have a fucking Pooh Bear mug that's like Sagittarius and it has like a little quote that's like, I don't know, while you're a fat piece of shit, your charm helps bring in the honey, or you know, something like that. Like I don't know what the fucking thing.
I don't think that's what it says.
It's something like it's a Disney mug. Of course, it calls me a fat piece of shit.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. Well, that checks out.
Like little, yeah, of course. But it's like your charm brings in the helps bring home the honey or something. I'm like, oh, that's cute. So like I get it. Like there's little things that are going to resonate, and I feel like that's why people buy into things like horoscopes. I have a sister that really, she likes to go and get readings done, and she's had some readings that have been spot on, so it reinforces her belief in that whatever this person says it is going to happen, or like that she's helping to manifest it. And like that's great, because that's something that works for her, just like horoscopes work for other people. I don't believe in shit. I am like the
same.
I'm the worst of the worst. And so
same.
But I appreciate that people can use these things to give them that confidence. I think that's the best way I can put it. It gives them the confidence to do the things that they might not do otherwise. And that's fine. I'm a dickbag. I have all the confidence of like a herd of fucking elephants. I'll do whatever the fuck I want because I'm unafraid of consequences, apparently. So, I mean,
you're a sociopath. We know.
No. Yeah, I'm a sociopath.
We know you're a sociopath. That's your astrological sign, sociopath.
I think you're pronouncing Sagittarius incorrectly. So
no, that's what I said. Sociotarius.
Sociotarius, right? I'm a half man, half asshole. But I fucking way off the beaten path right now. But yeah, I think that's the the best thing that people can do is find the things that are going to help them be the best versions of themselves. And if that's to tie this back around, if that's being in an open relationship or starting as an open relationship that then eventually becomes something that is maybe a little bit more monogamous or a little bit more centered, let's say, where you're not seeking those same things out in just whoever you meet. Like maybe it is a more finite group, whether that's one partner or a handful of partners, whatever that looks like. But I think all of that is going to stem from you being confident and knowing exactly what it is that you want and knowing exactly what it is that you don't want. I can speak from experience that Tim and I both, one of the biggest fucking pet peeves we have is when somebody says, oh, I don't like that. And then we go, okay, but what don't you like about it? Or do you have a suggestion of something else? And they go, no, I just know that I don't like that. It's the same thing. It drives me crazy when Brittany's like, what do you want to eat? And I'll name off like 3 different things. And she goes, none of that sounds good. And I go, ball's in your court, babe. You let me know. Because in this moment, you have a much more refined idea of what you want versus me just throwing out a bunch of random shit until the dart finally fucking hits the board. So I would say define, right? DTR, define the relationship, figure it out, figure out what you want. When you meet somebody, figure out what they want and see if the stars align, see if you guys can find commonality. But that would be my suggestion.
And then tangentially,
again,
if you do find somebody or somebodies that fulfill those needs when you have them, and if things start to change and you either want more with both or all or one of them, or you want things to change, just communicate those things. And also be prepared for them to not want the same things. Because I think that's one of the biggest things with alternate relationship styles. And when I say alternate, I mean anything outside of like the traditional boring ass monogamy that, you know, Liam and I typically subscribe to. But one of the biggest things is that I think people can like have this idea that, okay, I feel this certain way. I want this now. They get involved with something. 6 months, a year down the road, things start to change. They want more, they want less. they find that they're really, vibing with certain parts of it and they want to explore that more, whatever, that is perfectly okay. But it's also perfectly okay for the person that you're with, who you set arrangements with, to say, well, that's not what I signed up for, and that's still not what I want. I've had that experience actually in a couple of relationships. I had it happen in the first relationship after my marriage ended, where I was very clear that I don't have the typical things to offer. I'm not moving in. Nobody's moving in with me. I live with my ex and we are raising children together as friends under the same roof. The possibility in the future of, having somebody else move in, we've discussed it and it's on the table, but right now we're considering it essentially off the table. And the girl that I was dating, also did not want any kind of commitment like that. I'm never getting married again. I'm not having any more kids. Thank you, doctor. These arrangements were there. And also my free time is limited. I'm a full-time narrator. I have a family. I have a podcast and YouTube show. I have a video game reselling business that I do for fun. My time outside the house is limited. And so the right partner for me also is going to have their own shit going on, is going to want to do their own thing, is going to have friends and be independent or whatever, so that we can enjoy the time that we have together. And she was 100% on board. This is what she wanted. She never wanted anybody to move in with her, anything like that. And so we dated and it was working out. And then she started to realize, oh, I really like when we're spending time together. I want more. Okay, I can make some more time happen. We'll make more time happen. And then I was like, no, I want you to be able to drop everything if I'm having a bad day and just come over, or if I just miss you. And those things are fine. There's nothing wrong with wanting that. And there are plenty of people that can provide that. I just can't. And I was upfront about that from the start, that I don't have that. Now, if you're having a terrible day, something went wrong, you're really sad and hurt. Yes, of course. There are a lot of times where I can be like, hey, Sarah, do you mind if I head out? And she would be like, yes, get the fuck out of here. Or if I'm working, I can move a book and record it later at night or whatever. I can do those things. But to be able to just drop things at any point, I can't do that. And, it's perfectly okay for her to change her mind and want that later. The same thing happened with my last relationship. She came to realize, among other things, I won't get into some of the shitty stuff, but she came to realize oh, I thought I wanted the kind of relationship that you had to offer, and now I can't. I want more. I want, somebody to be able to move in and whatever. Fine. Perfectly okay. Perfectly acceptable. So I think for you, going into this open relationship, and you're getting a really long answer to your question, but
yeah, we really went off on this one.
We went like this. I think if you are going into this, one, you should be open to that changing for you. And if it does, communicate and be prepared for the other person to maybe not want that. And two, be open to that changing for your partners. And then you having to decide, are you open to changing to that? Whether that means not being in an open relationship anymore, whether that means permanently being in an open relationship, or being polyamorous, which is a kind of open relationship, but not all open relationships are polyamorous. Or whether it means, that they want more commitment from you. They want to be a nesting partner, whatever it is, be open to it and open to having the discussion and finding out if it's what you want or if it's not what you want. All right, we're done. You get no more time open to open. You have to pay for the extra minutes.
Dude, monopolizing the show right now. I hope you're happy.
So selfish. Just kidding. We love you. All right, last question of this episode. This is from Zach. First off, we get a name. Second off, it's a fella.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. I can't believe that guy wrote in. Hey, Zach. No. Zach says, feels weird to be writing in, but my friends are all dopes who act like relationships are stupid and aren't really emotionally intelligent. So hopefully you guys can help. By the way, that's 90% of men.
Yeah. And us included. I think that's... So...
Yeah, but I do think that's why our show is so popular, because we are mildly emotionally intelligent. So yes. It's So he says, I'm 24. Oh, you're a child.
You're a baby.
Of course your dude friends aren't emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They're barely adults. They're fucking
yeah.
So still calling for their mom to help wipe their ass. Come on, dude.
He says, I'm 24, been dating this amazing girl for 6 months or so. And the other day we were looking through pictures on my phone and some photos of my ex that I honestly forgot were on there popped up. I hadn't been with my ex in 2 years, so they're legit old ass photos that I thought I'd deleted. My girlfriend's absolutely livid, and now she thinks I'm still stuck on my ex, which I'm absolutely not. How do I prove to her that I'm telling the truth? I don't want to lose this relationship. Liam, how does he save this shit?
You can't. You're fucked, bro. You should have gone through your phone well before that. Or you don't flip through pictures with your current girlfriend. You're just separate accounts. At this point, change your name, new social security number, flee the country. There's no coming back from this. There's nothing you can do to
Mind
regain
control.
her trust. Yeah, maybe mind wipe, that like the
Hypnosis.
Men in Black, the neuralizer.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yep.
I mean, at this point, I don't know, man. I think deleting the pictures would probably be step one. And then, I don't know if it's like a you have to ride this out type thing, but just continue to show her that you are just committed to her, that you don't have any feelings for your ex, but don't do it in a way that like you're trying to compensate for the mistake.
Yeah.
I think sometimes that can make it worse, where you're just trying so hard to be like, I bought you flowers. See, I couldn't still be stuck on my ex if I bought you flowers. Like that makes this shit worse. Don't fucking do that. Like we're talking about earlier, I had a girlfriend that cheated on me, and like we were in this weird stasis of like broken up and not broken up and like still kind of together but not,
because she wouldn't get the fuck out.
Yeah, she wouldn't get out, and it was really fucking annoying. But all of our friends were telling me like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, I'm trying to be the good guy here. She was like finishing college. I was trying to be nice. I was stupid. But she would do certain things to be like, see, I'm not such a bad person. And I'm like, the fact that you have to say that shows you still are. Like you're just you're overcompensating. You're doing things not because you know it's the right thing to do. You're doing it because you want some sort of like reward or to feel validated. So I would say just keep it easy, man. Like delete the pictures, continue to do everything that you were doing prior to her finding those pictures on your phone. And if ultimately it's kind of up to her, man. Like if she doesn't want to get over it, that sucks, but it's her right to not get over it. And you could try to find new ways to help rebuild that trust, but really it just takes time. Like that's the biggest thing. It's going to take time, the effort on your part. It's going to have to be genuine effort. It can't just be like we were saying, it can't just be shit because you think that's going to win her over. And then, if she keeps bringing it up, be patient. Don't get mad. Like, why are you bringing that shit up again? Like that just makes you seem guilty. So be patient. Yeah. Just be like, hey, I know that was a mistake on my part. I've deleted those pictures and I've had no contact with my ex because my focus is completely on you and our relationship. And just keep trying to find ways to move forward. Don't sit on the past. That would be my main advice. My second advice is to go through her phone and find a picture of her ex and then be equally as pissed at her. Maybe you can like screen grab one from her ex's Instagram and put it in her photos so she doesn't even know it's there. And you're like, what the fuck is this?
That's toxic as fuck. I love it.
Yeah, dude, it's great. I mean, nobody can out toxic the Toxic Avenger. I don't know what to tell you. But I don't know, man. Like, how would you handle it?
Yeah, a couple things. First off, I like the picture planting idea. I think that's really good. That's healthy as fuck.
So fucking evil.
Like, well, you've got fucking, oh, god damn it. What's his name? What's Brittany's ex's stupid name?
Sandin.
The stupid name. Sandin. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I found Sandin in your phone.
Fucking made up. That's a fake name. That's a made up name.
What just happened to me? There we go.
Yeah, you're focused.
Yeah. Why is Sandin in your phone? What a dumb name. God.
No, he messaged her on Instagram. This is years ago. and his picture was just like the abs. You know what I mean? Where it's just, I wasn't even like mad or worried. I was just like, oh, he's that kind of douche. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't have to be worried, even though I was probably at my fattest at that point. So I was like, oh, I have the opposite of abs. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just
I have ab.
was not. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a 2-liter bottle. Yeah.
All right. So that's not really a good idea, but it's funny. It's funny, and so you should do it just
funny.
to end your relationship.
Or just like a lot of celebrities, like shirtless celebrities.
Yeah.
But not like the go-tos, not like your Ryan Goslings and Ryan Reynolds and stuff, but it should be like Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Like
Jonah Hill.
Just very random. What is this? This is what you're into?
Yeah. Make it. Yeah. So I guess the honest advice I would say is one of the biggest things that has been helpful for me, as annoying as it is, being in this dating environment, is recognizing that most people in general are shit, but also especially men. Men are absolute garbage, just complete trash, just. And the things that they're doing out there, that they're doing to women, are just heinous. And the dating experience for women is awful. So, like, the guys out here, I think that you are a woman. No, you're a dude. Never mind.
This is Zach. This is our good buddy
this is
Zach.
Sorry.
Good old
Zach. Well, Zach. We didn't ask for pronouns. We got to start doing that. Actually, that'll be really helpful.
Right, Zach and Zach.
Yeah, but like, we have to remember that women are dealing with a lot of bullshit. Like, for all the stuff that we dudes have to deal with on like dating apps and stuff, which is like the fact that dating apps are like 94% fellas. So like, there's just not that many women on dating apps. So it's an absolute sausage fest. So us straight dudes, the competition is bananas. And so that's all fine. That's all well and good. But like, the stuff that women have to deal with is just insane. And if you haven't, Zach, talk to a couple of your single women friends and ask them about their experiences in dating and on dating apps. It will provide you with so much knowledge about what not to do, and B, about why a lot of the things that happen when you're in a relationship. So she may have had a lot of experiences where these guys were like still talking to or hooking up with their exes. And so this could be a sore subject for her. She may have been cheated on, whatever, right? So I think that's the first thing, is like, have some empathy and understand, like, hey, maybe since you're in your own head, I'm not doing anything wrong. I didn't know these pictures were here. I wouldn't, I wanted to delete them. I forgot, whatever. She doesn't know that. She's not in your head. And so her assumption is, you are still interested in this ex. So that's the first thing. The second thing I would say is that I've been actually the guy who had pictures, not on my phone, but pictures of my ex on my computer. And it happened actually with Sarah, my ex, who I'm still best friends with and have kids with. While we were together, like, she was using my computer for something. I let her use my computer, and she found pictures of my ex and was like, what the fuck? Why do you still have these? And it was honestly one of those things that was like, they're buried in a folder on my computer that I didn't know was there. I probably had 1 billion pictures of my ex that I have deleted, 99% of, but there was like a folder that I didn't know was there. And they were just pictures. Like, it was, like pictures of her and I together or whatever. I don't even remember exactly what they were, but it wasn't like, they weren't nudes or anything. It was just literally pictures of us together. And it was one of those things that, like, for me, I was like, no, I genuinely didn't know they were there. And for her, she was like bothered by it. One, because, it's not pleasant at any age, and no matter how mature you are, it's not pleasant to see your partner with somebody else. Like, you don't want to see your partner kissing her ex. You don't want to see that. So it's not fun. So I think for you, I agree with all of Liam's advice, weirdly enough.
It's not good.
I know, that's never a good thing. Is to, be patient. Just be like, I'm sorry. I deleted them. They're gone. I have no interest in her. And if she's like, yeah, well, you know, I'm going to need some time, give her some fucking time. It's because that's all you can really do. All you can do now is demonstrate that you are not that person. You know, go through, delete them all. I don't think the thing of like, well, I'll show you every new picture I add, or like, I'll show you everybody I follow, or you can read all my messages. I don't think that shit solves any problems. I know a lot of people will do that as like a Band-Aid, but it's a Band-Aid on a bullet hole, and it doesn't fix the problem. You just need to rebuild the trust. And even though you did not do anything wrong, that doesn't mean you don't still have to rebuild the trust. So I would say work on rebuilding the trust. Have a lot of patience with her. Don't be like, you know, again, like Liam said, if she brings it up, you're right. I'm sorry. I wish I remembered to delete that. I wish I knew those pictures were there so I could delete them. I'm really sorry. Humility. That's it. All about humility. Don't fucking, you know, get defensive. You know, at some point she has to move on. But here's the other thing I wanted to say. And this is the best advice I ever got from Liam. I swear to you, he has good advice sometimes. He just doesn't bring it to the show. You know?
Save it.
No, he's for sure said this on the show a million times. But at some point in your relationship, you have to decide to trust your partner. Eventually, you have to make that decision. And sometimes it will be misplaced trust. Unfortunately, that's how some relationships go. But if you go into every relationship refusing to trust somebody until they've demonstrated without a doubt that they can be trusted, which, by the way, is impossible for somebody to do, then, you know, you're never going to have a healthy relationship. So I think for her, she will eventually have to choose to trust you and choose to say, okay, you have shown me time and again that you're trustworthy. You know, you've done the right thing. You had one slip up. And it was, if you say that it was not like intentional, you didn't have those pictures intentionally, then I will choose to trust you. She will have to do that eventually. And I think at a certain point, not in fucking a week or something, but at a certain point in your relationship, if it still is a thing a year down the road or 2 years or 5 years down the road, and she's like, yeah, well, you kept pictures from your ex, at some point it becomes like, okay, now it's time for you to fucking get over it. Because that was something that happened years ago. And, you know, you've seen all my pictures since. We've looked through my pictures since. I don't follow them, or like we don't talk, whatever. And she's got to get over it. But it, you know, it does take time. So give her the time and then have her choose to trust you.
I saw this thing that it was like, you're not afraid of heights, you're afraid of the fall. And I think I think it's applicable in these types of situations where it's like she is upset about the pictures, but that's not the real problem. She's upset about her trust feeling betrayed, or maybe even feeling like, oh, he's not as devoted to me as I am to him because he has these pictures on my phone. So try to find what is the root of her concern. And I think you had said if she wants space, give her space. I think that's important. To respect their wishes, but I also think it's important to get to the root. Like, were you mad that the pictures were on my phone? Do you not believe that I didn't know they were on there? Has something like this happened before? And then ultimately, like, hey, is there something that I can do to help rebuild this trust? Because I think sometimes it's good to give people space when they ask for space, but I think sometimes in relationships, too much space builds a gap. And then it's that much harder to kind of bridge it. So I would say before they go into like if she does say, give me some space, just ask her, hey, is there something that I could do that could help rebuild that trust other than space? Like, I can still give you the space, but is there something else that I could be doing to help kind of rebuild that? That would be my suggestion.
Yeah. And good luck to you both. I hope you're able to get through this, because it does suck, especially when it's a relationship that seems to be working out and something that is, actually like not a thing is what ends the relationship, because that can happen. And unfortunately, some people just can't move past it. And if she just can't move past it, the relationship won't work out. So hopefully it does. And, Zach, we want to hear from you. So if this advice helps, let us know in the comments on YouTube. That'd be dope, And also use the face recognition on the phone to unlock her phone for when you go to put the planted pictures in there. Good call. Yeah. Make sure you do that. And we really want to hear about the results of that experiment. Like, if you're ready to break up with her, do that and use it. I like this idea. We're giving the best advice. We're actually really good at this.
We're the best at our job.
Yep. Well, that'll do it for this round of shitty advice. If you need some shitty advice from us, toss your question in the comments below if you're here on the YouTubes. But if you wanted to be anonymous, you can head to thelovegods.lol. That's our website, thelovegods.lol. And that'll allow you to send it in anonymously. And we'll make sure to answer your questions on an upcoming episode. Be sure to like and subscribe and all of that stuff. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'm Tim Page.
And I'm Liam DeCosimo.
And we are the Love Gods.